31, it's a success ratio of 64%. And there's the man in the middle, Steve Nicholson from Whitehaven, tonight's referee, 32 years old, his second season on the Grade 1 list. So this Stonesborough Championship match overshadowed perhaps by the fact that it is Mike McLennan's last match in charge at Knowsley Road. It's St Helens against Hull Kingston Rovers. The Saints' championship ambitions are well and truly on the line. This is their point of no return, and for Hull Kingston Rovers, they need a spirited performance. They desperately desire a win, because third bottom of the table, it's obvious what will happen to them as this winter progresses, unless they start winning soon. Former Hull Kingston Rovers winger Anthony Sullivan in possession there, and being held down at the play the ball by the prop forward Wayne Jackson.
Well, they were told, weren't they, by the headquarters, Chapeltown Road, the referees, we no longer want this in our game, and rightly so. Flopping, holding down, let's see a free-flowing, fast game. That's what our game's all about. Very important, though, Eddie, that Hull KR get off to a really good start. They'll be wound up. They know that they beat St Helens at home in the first fixture of this season, and they've got to try to hit St Helens very early indeed.
That's good defence from Rovers, and there's the man who says farewell to Knowsley Road tonight. I'm sure he goes home with mixed feelings, Mike McLennan. Shane Cooper gets the ball away to Lachlan, and that really has been St Helens' problem in recent weeks. Mistakes like that from Lachlan, and this is a great run from Julian Barkworth, the winger.
Well, Lachlan there took his eyes off the football. Adam Charlesworth right in front, ready to pounce. As you mentioned, Eddie, that has been a problem over the past few weeks. Silly basic errors from St Helens. They have so much class, and yet they make so many fundamental errors.
Jamie Leighton, the loose forward, picks himself up. The dummy half was Richard Chamberlain. And that's the man who really does make Rovers tick, Wayne Parker, the scrum half. This is Gary Chatfield. He helps it wide to Leighton. That's a lovely break from Leighton. He's got support there too from Chris Harrison. The St Helens supporters screaming for a forward pass. The referee says play on. Here's Chatfield. Chatfield running dangerously. Big gap for Parker. Paul inside. Fullback Fletcher. And he's over for the try. What a start for Rovers. Mike Fletcher, the fullback, his first try of the season.
Well, it all came about from a beautiful run by the loose forward Jamie Leighton, put the second rower Chris Harrison through. Then we saw Chatfield rip it in. Look at the inside pass there. Beautiful play by Parker, and what a way to chime into the back line by the fullback Mike Fletcher. Super stuff. It was from that run, switched to the blind side by Lydiard. But look how Chatfield runs at the angle, drags the man in. Parker then calls for the fullback. It's there. The St Helens defence is split to ribbons. Super stuff. What a start.
Mike Fletcher converts his own try, makes his 4.6, and what a start for the Robins this is. 6 points to 0.
Well, this was the one where the crowd, they were shouting perhaps it was forward, and I tend to agree with them. But the referee, Steve Nicholson, was in a good position. Lady Luck shining on the Rovers perhaps, but what a great start. Not what the doctor ordered for Mike McLennan's last game.
No, the Rovers are certainly classed as the party poopers here tonight. And they've started very, very well indeed. Mike McLennan looking on from his usual position behind the posts here at Knowsley Road from the boardroom. And a penalty this time against St Helens. Andy Dannett, I think it was, being pulled out by referee Nicholson.
The message quite clear now, isn't it? Do not interfere with a man trying to play the football. The edict has come down the road, all across the Pennines, from Chapeltown Road, that is, headquarters of Rugby League, and rightly so.
Mike Fletcher placing the ball on the ground to take that penalty, to find touch. Obviously, conditions underfoot very greasy indeed. This is David Hosking, the man brought over from Australia to prop up the Hull Kingston Rovers forwards. Now that's Harrison. Wayne Parker, the captain, in at dummy half. Good movement from Rovers this, but there's the mistake.
Lydiard there just taking the eyes off again, turning, got a little bit of a knock for his corner as well. Stray knee went into the side of the thigh.
Adam Fogarty struggling to his feet. Bernard Dwyer is the dummy half. That's Griffiths, and he helps it to Joint. Good tackling from Lydiard though. Vivers directing the traffic from dummy half. He finds Dannett. Well, if Hull Kingston Rovers needed a little boost in the opening 5 minutes or so here, they certainly got it with that Mike Fletcher try. It's a huge kick downfield. A great kick too. Tia Rapati.
They've certainly missed Rapati. Normally known for more of an individual player in attack, but this is a super kick there from the standoff. It's going to be a test of the St. Helens character now. Bad start. They have to start rolling the sleeves up, build upon it now, and hope that Rovers make this mistake in their own quarter.
Wayne Parker disappearing under the challenge of Cooper, Joint and Fogarty. Harrison trying to work the ball upfield. They'll be desperate not to make a mistake here, the Rovers, and St. Helens, of course, will be trying to pressurise them all the way.
You may notice how Hull KR, they are running at the angle with the forwards. They're dragging the St. Helens defence away. That's a way to find the opening.
Jamie Leighton, 20 years old. Another one of the outstanding young players who's graduated through the academy in the last couple of years. And there's another Richard Chamberlain, the hooker. He gives it back to Parker, the captain, who hammers the ball forward. And it's picked up eventually by Steve Prescott. And this is a man with great promise, the teenager for St. Helens. Rapati with the little scuttling run manages to release the pass. This is better from the Saints. Fogarty taking the ball up to the halfway line. Griffiths and Joint. Good tackling by Chamberlain downstairs. The tackle completed by Wayne Jackson. Dwyer to Laughlin. Keeps hold of it this time, then releases a little pass to Griffiths. He finds Rapati. Great defence again, though, from the second row of Paul Fletcher. Cooper fires a long pass to Vivers. Prescott's there in support. Prescott gets it, helps the ball out wide. And eventually, the ball is simply hacked behind the Rovers' goal line.
Good play this. It was a long ball there. There was a nice inside kick, wasn't it, from the skipper, Shane Cooper. Good job that Wayne Parker was on hand. He was a sweeper there. But good play by St. Helens. They threw the long ball out wide. That's their key, in my opinion.
That was a great kick from underneath their own sticks, but Sonny Nicol has it for St. Helens. He's picked up pace. The Rovers' defence had to be brave then, and it was. Have lost 4 games on the trot, the Rovers. Leading here, though, against the odds, some would say, by 6-0 against the St. Helens side that's lost its last 2 and drawn 1. As good as 3 defeats.
Good refereeing there from Steve Nicholson, allowing play on so Rapati could pick that ball up.
Bernard Dwyer, the St. Helens acting halfback, finds Andy Dannett, who's come head-to-head with Hull Kingston Rovers many times in the past. The man that Mike McLennan paid £80,000 for in October from Hull. Great Britain international, now the New Zealand international. Rapati gets the ball away to another Kiwi, Cooper, but there's some indecision and wrong communication there for St. Helens. Rovers have it back.
Well, it really wasn't the pass. In the ball out wide. Cooper trying to get the ball away. Dwyer. It wasn't intended for the hooker, intended for Jonathan Griffiths, but yet another mistake from the Saints.
I suppose, Steve-O, it will be difficult for St Helens tonight. They know that McLennan's on his way home. Bill Arthur was saying in the corridor outside there that, well, they were all lifted by it, but I get a feeling that they could be deflated.
Well, it's all a matter of whether they say that they're going to be lifted by it and whether they play as though they've lifted from it. We mentioned at Boots and All on Thursday that it will be a test of their character.
At the moment, they're trailing 6-0, and David Lyon has it. He steps away from one tackle and a second tackle. Can't get away from the third man in. That's Chris Joint. He gets the ball away to Paul Loughlin. St Helens keeping the ball alive. Fogarty driving it into the Rovers' half of the field. Cooper. Long pass to Vivers, and he had to go spread eagle to pick that one up. Here's Dannett again, gets the ball away to Sullivan, but not the best pass. And it was a good job for Saints that Joint was there.
St Helens really have to slow things down. They're playing panic football as though there's only about 5 minutes left of this game remaining. They've got to get back into their game plan and just nice and slowly get back into the game. Nice kick again from Rapati. That's a second good kick right into the corner. But panic football, I'm afraid, from Saints at the moment. I'm sure the message would have gone out from Mike McLennan to just calm things down a little bit.
That's the winger Barkworth, grounded by Cooper. Chamberlain, the dummy half. Parker, he finds Chatfield. Try scorer Mike Fletcher just picking himself up. Here's Chamberlain again. He drops the ball. Young Chamberlain, only 20 years old. Quite a challenge. Griffiths picks it up, finds Loughlin. He gets it out to Sullivan. What would Anthony Sullivan give for a try against his former club?
That's better from Saints. Sure ball. That's got to be a penalty, surely.
Chatfield wouldn't let him get to his feet.
Well, this referee has made it quite clear there. Just a little bit of an elbow as well. All part of the game. It's not drafts. It's pretty tough. Rugby league.
One of the form players in the Rovers side at the moment. Got promotion from the reserve team. Trying 3 successive games earlier in the season. Gary Chatfield. But it's his penalty that gives Steve Prescott this opportunity. And interestingly enough, it's the teenager Prescott who's been given the goal-kicking role ahead of Paul Loughlin, the more experienced man. And Prescott with 8 goals to his credit and a try. Loughlin just watching on. And Prescott just gets it inside the post. Saints are on the scoreboard. 6-2.
That should settle the nerves down. Talented player, isn't he, this youngster? We've seen him on Sky playing in the full-back position. I'm sure we'll hear quite a lot of this guy in the future. But hopefully that's the 2 points that St Helens will just steady that ship.
So Rovers then restart. They beat St Helens on the first day. They're aiming here tonight for their first league double over St Helens since the 1981-82 season. They have a quite dreadful record at Knowsley Road. Do help Kingston Rovers. Nickel. That ball shot out in the tackle like a bar of soap. Joint picked up the pieces. He finds Rapati. Now Vivers on a diagonal run. Gets the ball away. This is what Saints are so good at, keeping the ball alive. But that's a good tackle. The prop forward Jackson and Paul Fletcher. Lovely ball round the corner. A good job that Jackson was there again. Now Fogarty, a marauding run from the prop forward. Oh, perhaps he should have released the ball to Sullivan. St Helens on the charge with Dwyer going the short side. and Rovers just hold him up. They're so close, St Helens here. Knock on. Chance goes. It was on the last tackle. It's the turnover.
Well, it was super play from St Helens. Forward play. First of all, a little slip ball from Andy Dannett. Here we see Dwyer lost the ball there. Fogarty, sorry. Dwyer had made the run before that. But what a great run by that big fella. Prop forward.
Rovers get a penalty, by the way, because Saints were all offside here.
Look at the strength there and the power. I mean, well, he couldn't get it away.
Chris Harrison is tackled, standing up. Referee shouted held. Chamberlain gets the ball away to Jamie Leighton. George Fairbairn is doing a great job on Humberside, trying to galvanise a team for the big league out of local youngsters and rugby union trialists who have been drafted in. But that was a forward pass.
That was panic football from the other side. Hull KR. Wayne Jackson, the prop forward, onto Oliver, the winger. Obviously forward.
Another opportunity for St Helens then with Griffiths starting away from the base of the scrum. David Lyon stretching out. Couldn't just get away from the ponytail centre, Adam Charlesworth. Here's Chris Joint. Joint strongly trying to bollock his way to the line. Dwyer, Griffiths. Slips on the turf, does Griffiths, but does well to pick himself up and make a few more metres progress towards those posts. Dwyer, Cooper, Nicol on the charge. Solid defence again from Rovers. They're having to work hard now. The men from Humberside.
He never played that correctly. That's a penalty to Hulkinson Rovers. Sonny Nicol tried to play the ball. The ruling states you must release it, and he didn't. Watch it there. Never even played it with his foot either. Tried to kid the referee, didn't get away with it. A wasted opportunity there.
Again, Mike Fletcher with the penalty, taking safety first, plonking that ball into the main stand on the far side. And here's David Hosking, greeted by Dannett and Nicol. Chamberlain gets the ball away to Harrison. And that's the penalty count, just edging Hulkingston Rovers' way. The match at the moment going their way too. We're nearly a quarter of the way through, and it's 6-2 to Rovers. And they're in possession here. It's Leighton, the loose forward. Chamberlain, the dummy half. Hoskin, the runner. Looking to release the ball and does so. It's now with Parker. Long pass from him to Lydiard. Lydiard inviting the second row man Paul Fletcher to come in on his inside. Eventually just taking the tackle from Vivas. Parker, Leighton, Chatfield, where a forward pass.
Not only a forward pass, it nearly was a hospital one too. Good job that Tirapati just held back. There's no chance of receiving that. And I bet he's glad he didn't either.
Rapati probably heard the couple of thousand voices in the crowd here shouting for the forward pass, and then he picked up the referee's whistle. Prescott now for St Helens.
Oh, it's great to see a move from the scrum base when they work the blind side. Cooper peeled off from loose forward. Love to see it.
Joint through the dummy looking for Vivas, did well too. This is Rapati. Joint is still there. That's a great try from Saints. Put that one down to Chris Joint. He started and he finished the move.
The man's not qualified as world class for nothing. Dannett there gets the ball away, attracts the two defenders. Nice little dummy there. They went too high on him. You've got to go low on a big fella like this. But Rapati throws the dummy, and who's in support for the man that started it? Chris Joint. Oh, that's excellent play. All came about from the run around the blind side, from the resulting play of the ball. This time we see Dannett attracting two. When you get the ball away there, you can see how the defence is split and back on the inside. Super support play by Rapati, and even better from the man who claims the 4 points. Saints are running hot.
Yeah, it's a great try from Chris Joint, his 6th of the season. And Prescott with the conversion. And again, he just slides it inside the posts. And so the St Helens comeback is now complete. Trailing 6-0, they now lead 8-6.
So important when Dannett takes in 2 would-be tacklers and gets the ball away. That's when you start getting a lot of trouble in your defence. It splits. They've got to be, they were stranded. Look how he spins in and out. You can't go high on a big fella like Joint. Super play.
So Rovers restart, and St Helens have hit them with 8 points now in 6 minutes. Nicol didn't complete the match at Craven Park on the opening day when St Helens were surprisingly beaten by Hull Kingston Rovers. He was sent off along with Alan Hunt. Served the ban that the Rugby League put on him. His season was a little bit slow to get off the mark, but my word, he's made up the lost time since. This is Cooper. Here's Nicol again, that man who makes such great strength and strides up the field for St Helens at every opportunity. It's the last tack. No, it isn't. The referee, I don't know whether he signalled or not, frankly. We've told him it's 5th tackle anyway, and Saints seem to agree. They've punted the ball downfield into the arms of Fletcher. Bill Arthur now with Mike Riley.
Mike, a bit of a shock start for Saints, but you've recovered well.
Yeah, we let him in for the early try early on, but we've recovered well. The forwards seem to be doing a lot of work, and they're making a good platform for the backs.
Do you think the heads were still in the dressing room in those opening minutes?
Yeah, bound to be. I mean, what's gone on last week, we had a couple of losses, but we needed this win under our belts, and I think the lads are going to do it tonight.
And it looks as though the handling is there tonight. There's some lovely movement going on.
Yeah, the backs are playing well tonight. They're getting the ball moving, and as I say, the forwards are doing all the work.
And do you think now that you can go on from here?
Yeah, we're building from here. Hopefully we're going to build from here. I'm going to take Wigan on Boxing Day.
Yeah, that's the one they all want here at St Helens. They want to try and take Wigan out on Boxing Day. And we have a real Christmas treat for you on Sky Sports again this year. You can see that match in our usual Sunday evening slot, 7 o'clock, Boxing Day evening. Don't miss that one.
Oh, what a great tackle there from the centre Vivas on the second rower. Harrison picked him up as though he was a little rag doll, and bang, lost the football. Knock on, scrum down.
Saints are back in possession then with Griffiths. Gets the ball away off the floor to Lyon. Then the Dwyer saying to the referee, come on, let's get on with it. Cooper to Rapati. Rapati to Lachlan. Lachlan head-to-head there with Adam Charlesworth, the man with the ponytail. Student at Hull University. There he is. He's studying sociology. One out of the Student Rugby League, Steve-O. That's great to see also.
Yes, it builds for the future. The game is really developing.
And in the students' game, by the way, it truly is a national sport. Played north, south, east and west. Meanwhile, this is a penalty to Saints, right in front of the sticks.
Miles offside there. Mr. Nicholson. Well, box of chocolates, take your pick.
I can never understand that remark. Box of chocolates, take your pick.
You always have a problem with a lot of things. Just while the kick's about to be taken, Eddie, just get the impression that Jonathan Griffiths at number 7 really is causing a lot of problems for his opposite number, Wayne Parker. The combination between Shane Cooper at loose forward and Jonathan peeling away, it really has been very effective over the last 15 minutes. On 3 scrums, St Helens really have caused Hull KR a lot of problems around the scrum base.
Here comes Prescott then from bang in front. That's 3 out of 3 for the teenager. No wonder Paul Laughlin's lost the job. And Paul Laughlin has just had the other arm bandage now. The one with the heavy padding on, he's broken twice in his career. Now he's getting treatment to the other arm. But Lachlan not kicking tonight for St Helens. Lost a bit of confidence in the kicking department, they reckon, here. So from 6-0 up to 10-6 down, the Rovers. Well picked up by Beavers. Nickel again. I mentioned that dreadful record earlier on of Hulkingston Rovers. You know, of 18 games between these two in the First Division, St Helens have won 17 here at Knowsley Road, and Rovers just the one way back in April 1982. And there's the head-to-head between the two sides. 24 wins to the Saints, 12 to Hulkingston Rovers. So very much history on the Saints side tonight.
Head-eye tackle. They can see it. It really was more of a grab there by David Lydiard, but well spotted by the referee Nicholson. Not happy with it, the Australian, in his second season with the Rovers.
And that's easy yards for St Helens. They're now back and heading towards the danger zone with Adam Fogarty, who takes them into the 20-metre area. And the Rovers subs, O'Brien with the strapping on the ears, and also Dean Clark warming up. George Fairbairn perhaps about to make a change. Griffiths, Rapati. That's a lovely ball to Nicol. Only thing I would say in criticism of Sonny Nicol, Steve-O, is he doesn't often release the ball, does he?
Well, he's a strong runner, has probably been told just to run onto it. Bad mistake there by the hooker Bernard Dwyer. But again, perhaps just a little bit panicky. You can see Chris Joint having 3 men around him, and they're in a good position. Why not just take it down, slow it down a little bit? They play some wonderful football, do Saints.
Hull KR making a change just now, and it's Jamie Layton who leaves the pitch. He hasn't picked up a knock. I think George Fairbairn, the coach, wants Dean Clark in there in the back row, just to, at loose forward, just to tighten things up. That's Dean Clark coming in for Hull KR, and Jamie Layton coming off.
There's Dean Clark just playing the ball, the 1989 Kiwi tourist. This is his 3rd season at Hulkingston Rovers, joining them from Scarborough. There's a name of the past. 1991-92 season. Parker and Chatfield trying to work the link in centre field. Lydiard was watched like a hawk by Cooper.
Oh, supervision, hasn't he, in defence sometimes, Cooper. Picked him out very well indeed.
Parker leathers the ball downfield. David Lyon has to race back about 15-20 metres and tries to run through the two tacklers. Almost got there too. Chamberlain and Parker, though, closing him down. Here's Lachlan.
Well, he doesn't want anything with this high tackling at all. There you go. A little bit of a grab from Wayne Parker on the centre. Lachlan. Well, a message surely will be getting through to them from this Mr. Nicholson.
And from the Rugby League, Steve-O. That's what they've said. No high tackles, no fiddling and faffing at the play of the ball. Let's clean the sport up.
And let's hope it lasts more than just one game.
St Helens seeing a lot of the football, 63.2% to Hulkingston Rovers, almost 37%. But we've had 9 penalties already. That's about 1 on our count every 3 minutes. So it's a bit of a stop-start match so far. Not a whistle from the referee, but I'm with you. Let's hope it just doesn't last this week. Let's hope it's right the way through now. And the game is sorted. Not that it needs much sorting, just the odd tinker here and there. Here's Griffiths. Shaped to kick then, but Dean Clark was right in front of him, thought better of it.
He's got a point to prove, hasn't he, Jonathan Griffiths? They've used him as a substitute in the centres. They really have been a mystery man, but I think he's probably best at the number 7 shirt.
And it's his first game at scrum half for the last 7. You're right, he's got a point to prove. Was that high? No. Play on. Hosking met by Nicola Cruncher. But was that the high tackle from Cooper?
No, he got the shoulder in first. See on the replay, referees don't have the replay, but I'm not making excuses for him, but that was a fair tackle. St Helens really have got their defence sorted out. See them moving up, they're not allowing the Rovers any opportunity to get the ball out wide anymore.
It's a good kick that by Parker. Prescott content to let the ball roll into touch. We've had half an hour here.
Picked his spot nicely, didn't he? Moved it away, the youngster Prescott making no attempt to get that. A lot of people in the game want to bring in the rules, so it's an advantage to the defending player to actually make a grab for it.
So just less than 10 to half-time. St Helens in possession, but in the wrong half of the field for them. Prescott there. Cooper dummy half, and the Rovers player made a play for that, and he caught the ball with his studs. The referee has wiped the tackle count down. So St Helens start again. They've got 6 to go. Dwyer gets it away to Rapati, but it was forward.
Well, why on earth did you want to pass that football? You're in your own quarter. The marbles just sometimes roll around too often.
So this Stonesborough Championship match, nicely poised at 10-6. Saints with their title ambitions on the line. Rovers, third bottom. The worst defence in the big league, but coping quite neatly. Coping neatly so far. This is the second row of Fletcher. That's not a bad run. And now we'll see how the St Helens defence copes with this attack. It's Parker, long ball to the fullback Mike Fletcher again. Already scored one try. Stood for an eternity then before eventually was pulled to the floor by Rapati. Parker to Chatfield, dabs the ball forward. That's inventive play, and that's a try. Julian Barkwood sneaking up down the touchline. That was lovely play from Chatfield. Slid the ball across, and it fooled Saints completely.
Excellent play. The little kick into the corner. The defence comes up on him. There's no sweeper there. The fullback's nowhere to be seen. He's too late. And Barkworth gets the fingertips to it. Excellent football. They do use the kick to great there. Look at that. Move up the defence, and it was a fair try. That has stunned the crowd here. Oh, look at this. You see how the defence comes through. David Lyon just a little bit too late. And that's the result.
Took a cloud off the advertising hoardings round the ground, but he's not worried about that, Julian Barkwood. Good try, big smile on his face too. And Mike Fletcher with the conversion attempt. It's got a chance, and it just drifts wide of the posts. So all square, 10 points each.
Caught on the blind side. There's a fullback Lyon. There's a defence come through. The kick. The rest is in the papers tomorrow. They're back in it.
Very much so. St Helens caught out wide. Barkworth just got the touchdown. 10 all. Parker looks for the big men, the runners. He finds them in Harrison. Oh, that was a collision. Almost a clash of heads, I thought, there with Joint, but Joint looks okay.
It certainly was a clash. How tough was that? Joint just shook his head a bit and said, let's get on with it.
Rovers growing in confidence here. 10 points all against St Helens. Chamberlain to Parker, looked up, saw a huge gap. Planted the ball over the top of the St Helens defence. It finds touch.
Nice percentage play by Wayne Parker. Nice kick into the corner. You see there was no one at home. That's the idea these days. No point kicking it right down the throat of the fullback. You can see David Lyon way to the right-hand side. Well, how many times have we seen a St. Helens side look as though they're going to take control of a game, running with great fervour and vigour, and yet, first time that Hull KR get into the quarter, they allow them to score.
And what's more, Griffiths has popped up the pass, and Mike Fletcher has said thanks very much. That was careless play. Chatfield now, again, the man who created that try a few moments ago. Look at this.
Well, it's all panic. I hate to keep repeating it, but they're just losing their marbles in their own quarter.
Ball was stolen. Wayne Parker appealed to the referee, and the referee had a glance and agreed. And they'll kick for goal here. And there's no doubt. That was Rapati.
And no need to appeal either. Mr. Nicholson, fully aware of the offence. It's these silly little things that make a coach's job a nightmare.
Fletcher with the successful penalty, and Rovers have the lead again. 12 points to 10.
You can see there Rapati's left arm coming through. The appeal to the referee. What about that, sir? No, he's not shaking his hands.
Mattia Rapati kicking off, and before this match he asked us to say a very good evening to his family watching back home in Auckland. These matches, of course, on Sky go live to New Zealand every week, to Sky Television in New Zealand. It's his mum and dad who are watching in Auckland, and all the family. I don't think he would be too happy that they saw that. (12-10) then, Rovers. Just 3.5 minutes to hang on to half-time, but bad error from Hosking.
Bad pass, overrun it. There you see, having to reach back for it. That often is the case when a team uses a dummy runner. The bloke that set the dummy half position often makes a mistake.
Here's Rapati, and that was a lovely long ball to Vivas. He finds David Lyon. The defence shuttles across to try and cut the danger out from Lyon, but he's still going strong, but not now. Good tackling by Richard Oliver. He's the man signed by Rovers from local rugby union. He was on trial as an AN other to try and protect his identity. It was the worst kept secret on Humberside, apparently. Here's Sonny Nicol.
There was another secret they kept. That was a pretty good tackle.
It certainly was. St Helens, though, are 10 metres short of the line with Griffiths. And now Rapati misses out Lyon, finds Loughlin. Loughlin's in. Good drive from St Helens. Created by that long pass. And Loughlin steamed onto it.
Well, you make a mistake, just like St Helens a few moments ago. It was Hoskins that allowed St Helens to get in this position. Long ball out wide, but a super pass there. That is perfect timing. The Great Britain international, Paul Loughlin. Super stuff. And what a relief for the St Helens players and the fans. Watch the long ball from Rapati now. He drags in the two players. They took the dummy runner. That's how the gap was created. Well planned, well taken, and well executed.
So Paul Loughlin, try number 2 of the season. A couple of goals up on Humberside at Craven Park in that defeat in August. He once scored 20 points against the Rovers in a Regal tie win here in 1989. Steve Prescott again. Not a bad record for the 18-year-old. 3 from 3. This the most difficult. Let's see what he's made of here. He's made of the right stuff, I fancy. Just drifts wide. 14-12, Saints back in front. Topsy-turvy, isn't it?
Watch how Rapati uses the dummy runner to come through. This man comes in, leaves the gap. Super play. Oh, it makes me smile. Great stuff. More, please.
I think that is what Mike McLennan and the St Helens supporters will say also. Half a minute to go then. The Rovers did not hold out for those 3.5 minutes. Saints in front 14-12. In possession with Adam Fogarty. That ball was stolen. But Saints get the ball back. Referee says play on.
No doubt about it. Dean Clark dragging the ball away.
Griffiths to Rapati. I think Rapati would have enjoyed his Auckland relative seeing that long pass that split the Rovers' defence for that Paul Loughlin try.
I'd have to agree with you there, Eddie. That was world-class play. You wouldn't get any better than that anywhere in the world.
Here's Fogarty again. Strong run. Halted by Clark and by Wayne Jackson. Rapati again. Seen plenty of it, hasn't he? There's the midfield bomb. It's high. Tester for Fletcher, but no one from St Helens was coming forward towards him. But somebody there was, and it was Rapati who caught him a bit high. But he's been involved tonight, hasn't he? Must know he's on telly in New Zealand.
Jeez. Well, he'd all the time in the world, and he said, oh, I think I'll get to him. Well, he's really fired up, isn't he? Lucky to get away with that one. The fullback Mike Fletcher had all the time in the world to take it. So it wasn't as though he was moving in at the same time, Rapati.
A minute and 10 seconds of stoppage time first half. And a first half that's gone one way and then the other. It's 14 points to 12. Rovers building up a 6-0 lead. Saints hitting back. Rapati being involved in everything. And Loughlin's try towards half-time is the one that separates these two sides at the break.
Seize the day.
Yo.
It's half-time here at Nosey Road, and St Helens just edging it at the moment by 14 points to 12. 2 tries apiece. Chris Joint, Paul Loughlin, Mike Fletcher and Julian Barkworth for Hulkingston Rovers, and the goal kicking of Prescott at the moment just holding sway for the home side, St Helens. 14-12. And I think the phrase we used first half, Steve, was topsy-turvy. It has been exactly that, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's Rovers got off to the flying start that they needed. St Helens looked very, very well. They didn't understand what was going on. They were a little bit lackadaisical in defence, and full credit to the Rovers. I thought their first try was absolutely sensational. They really put it together. And then we saw a period where St Helens really started to take control, but super play. You can't knock football like this. It was wonderful. They kept the ball alive, moving, and look how he brings back the man inside. That is vision. Knowing at the right time when to come for the ball, support play. You can't get any better than that from a fullback. That was super play by Fletcher.
It was great play, wasn't it? And St Helens perhaps just caught a bit cold, as you say. That they've got all this business going on over the losing the coach just 24 hours ago. And I just wonder where their minds were at that stage. Obviously not on the job of stopping Hulkingston Rovers.
Well, yeah, it's obviously going to affect them, as you say. And it took them a while. They tried to win the game as though they'd only 5 minutes left and they had to panic. They kept the ball alive. We know they can play very, very attractive football, but at that time they didn't need it. They were 6 points down and they had to roll their sleeves up and get into it. The forwards had to start working. If your forwards lay the platform, when you've got players like Griffiths and Rapati, they're the players that are going to win you the game.
Absolutely. It went 6-2 then to Hulkingston Rovers because Steve Prescott kicked penalty. But then the Saints' comeback was complete. And Chris Joint, let's take our hats off to him because he starts and finishes it, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, he does. But let's not also forget that Dannett dragged in the 2 men on the defence through the dummy. But you can't go high. They went far too high in a big fella like that. Good support play by Rapati, but even better. Oh, this kid's going to be very good. He's going to get better as the years go by. Let's hope he doesn't get injured, because he's going to be a stalwart in the Great Britain side for many years to come.
Took it really confidently, didn't he? One-handed and just dragged it in for the try.
He did, but also the fact that Dannett run at the angle rather than just running straight in. He brought the defence to him, And when they couldn't get him down and get the ball away, that's when the extra man, that's where you get problems in defence. That's what rugby league's all about. Making that little bit of an effort, squeeze it in, get the gap, result a try.
And then the Rovers, well, it looked for a moment as though they were going to be out of it, but they struck back, and what a lovely kick there from Gary Chatfield, the standoff half.
Well, it was a move, wasn't it? I mean, they knew that they just caught that Lyon was a little bit slow getting through, and I thought Julian Barkwood has played exceptionally well in the first 40 minutes. It's all a matter of there again, vision, thinking, using the kicking game. When the defence comes to you, see that the fullback's a little bit slow getting into that position, bang, away you go. Barkwood's a talented player.
And can the Rovers carry on? Can they pick up a rare win here, do you think, or will it be Saints' Day?
Well, I think it's going to be very difficult for them, mainly because of the fact that they didn't have a great deal of possession. If they get the lion's share in the second half, we could be in for a bit of a shock. But we know what St Helens are capable of. They can fight back, they can throw some wonderful football. They're capable of scoring 4 tries in 10 minutes, but they're also capable of scoring, allowing 4 tries against them in that same period.
Mike McLennan's last team talk at half-time, isn't it?
It is. It won't be easy for the man, but full credit. When seeing class play like this, you see how Reparty pulled in the man again. Once again, creating the gap, the timing. Lockwood, world-class football from 2 world-class players. So I suppose that McLennan will be quite happy, especially with that try. More of that, as we said on the commentary, more in the second half. I've enjoyed it. There's been some great tries in these first 40 minutes.
Certainly has some smashing tries, some great football, and it's anybody's match, you know, at 14 points to 12. That's the situation we have, though, at half-time here at Nosey Road. 14-12, the match is up for winning. Look at the power of Lachlan. We'll see plenty more of that second half, and that's what's coming up next.
Yo.
St Helens have now scored 53 tries this season in 13.5 league games. They have defended well. They've yet to concede 20 points in any fixture so far. But Hulkingston Rovers have pierced that defence a couple of times tonight. It's 14-12 at half-time. And there is a message for my friend and comrade. They love Mike McLennan, they don't like somebody else.
Well, at least they got my name right.
At least they spelt it right, didn't they? Chris Joynt, who has played as well as any of the St Helens players on show here tonight. A Great Britain international for some little time to come. Jonathan Griffiths looks more at home at scrum half, doesn't he? Had a busy first half, Griffiths. But can the Rovers make it a bad night at Nosey Road for the Saints? They're trailing 14 points to 12, Hulkingston Rovers, but the match is all in for the winning here. And as Steve-O said at half-time, Saints can run 4 tries in as many minutes. They can also concede a few too. Wayne Jackson with first touch of this second half. Just checking through the lineups, and Mike Riley has emerged with the number 14 jersey. He has come on for David Lyon, and Steve Prescott has moved off the wing to fullback. So St Helens have made a change, but I fancy that might be an injury rather than tactics. We'll see, no doubt, from Bill Arthur a little bit later on. Hosking, meanwhile, with the run downfield for Rovers. That was Lydiard. And Richard Oliver, the wingman. Chamberlain, the dummy half, to Chatfield, to Parker. High kick to Parker, underneath it Prescott. Well, that's where he started as far as Saints are concerned at full-back, and he looks confident, doesn't he?
Excellent take from the youngster there. But interesting to note that Hull KR starting off with a big flourish this second half. They were moving up very quickly. Quick play of the ball, and really St. Helens were slow in moving their defence.
Bill Arthur's now with George Fairbairn, the Hull Kingston Rovers coach.
George, satisfied with your team's first half performance?
Yeah, obviously it's an improvement of what we've been doing in the past 2 or 3 weeks. We've just made 1 or 2 little basic errors. It's kept them in the game, and I think if we cut them out second half, we're in for 2 points.
You're confident that you can take Saints?
We've got to be going in at 14-12 down half time, haven't you?
And what was said in the dressing room?
It's like I just said, we've got to cut these little basic errors out.
Rapati with a strong run. The support was there from Nicol. Cut the basic errors out, says George Fairbairn. Well, they've got some defending to do here now. Cooper continues the movement on. Dabs the ball forward. Not the best clearance in the world, in fact. The referee has ruled it's going to be a scrum.
Well, he's indicated it was a knock-on. I couldn't see it. Baffled me.
St Helens won't be complaining. They have the feed at the scrum. Griffiths has possession, and Rovers are trying to marshal their defence. Dwyer to Joint to Vivers. Vivers taking it on.
Well, surely this is where Saints will do their famous crisscross, bring someone back on the inside.
There's Rapati. Ball inside to Griffiths. Griffiths for the line. Try! Rovers had a great start first half. Saints have got the great start second.
Just what the doctor ordered. The dummy run from Dannett. Switch of play. There you see him coming at the handle. And there's the man on the inside. Super play. They do it so well, don't they, St. Helens? See how the dummy runner went away, brought the defence across, but it's this moment where Rapati cuts back inside and someone coming straight, and that man is Jonathan Griffiths.
The Welsh international with his 3rd try of the season, back after being a substitute against Warrington last Saturday. And he is in his best position, I think, at scrum half tonight. And certainly the link with Rapati working well. The applause in the background is because Rapati is being led off and Gus O'Donnell is coming on. Rapati obviously injured, limping. They'll hope it's not a recurrence of that Achilles tendon problem that's dogged him from the start of the season. But O'Donnell is on. And meanwhile, Prescott now will try and steady himself and clip these 2 points over. He's pulled it wide of the post. That could be a costly error for the youngster. 18-12.
Saints are on the dummy runner. You can see the defence there, and look at the gap and where he goes back inside. Whoa, let's watch it. Super stuff. See how the gap appears. Enjoyable to watch, and good finishing too.
So 18-12 to St Helens, 6 points in it. 4.5 minutes, second half gone. Nicol underneath the kick-off. George Fairbairn, confident, Steve-O, as he emerged from the dressing room. Wonder what he's thinking now, because they've been hit really with the sucker punch, haven't they, right at the start of the second half.
Oh, it was a great play, and it's lovely to see this St Helens side. I was said at the half-time, Eddie, they are capable of scoring some wonderful tries.
Joint with the run, just noticing actually that Hull Kingston Rovers last league win at Nosey Road, April 82, 28 points to 16, and George Fairbairn that day ran in a try and kicked 5 goals. So he knows what it's like to win here. Dannett though with that good strong run. Backing up is Bernard Dwyer. Good job that Paul Fletcher was there to bring him down. Cooper just dabs the ball over the top. Richard Chamberlain has to pick it up. Went down and just cleared the danger. It's Dean Clark. 8 tries from Dean Clark last season. And interestingly enough, the substitute for Rovers, he scored their last hat-trick. It was in the cup against Keighley last season. They've been finding tries hard to come by.
Nice dummy there by the halfback Parker. Fooled the defence, just couldn't get the ball back inside.
Chamberlain again. There's Chatfield. Good play from Chatfield. He was felled as he went for that, but the referee saw nothing illegal. It's play on.
Well, he committed himself really at the tackler. 50-50 there.
And there's Mike Riley in possession. Oh, and there's a real roughhouse. That's the second row forward, Chris Harrison, all over Mike Riley then. Cooper with a bit of space. Here's Riley again. Now Nicol, but it bounces off Nicol and into the arms of Dwyer. It's play on, says the referee. Here's Vivers. And penalty now against Rovers.
Well, you can see Vivers going through. Then as he tries to get over, he just pushes him down. Very simple, but a bad mistake from the hooker Chamberlain. Surely the Saints will take the 2 points.
And indeed they will. It's going to be Steve Prescott again. Missed with the conversion attempt. So it's 3 from 5 for the 18-year-old. This one bang in front at about 31 metres out. Prodigious goal kicker is this young winger come full-back for St Helens. He's emerged this season from the 18. Sights are set that time. 2 more to the Saints total. 20-12.
And that could prove a vital kick. That's... See Oskins there coming in at the right there, really walloped him through there. That's the reason why the referee Nicholson gave the penalty. Taking the man off the ball with the elbow. We can do without that.
Yeah, I wondered what the penalty was given for, and there it was, crystal clear. Riley again. Dwyer's the dummy half. Gus O'Donnell gets the ball away to Dannett. O'Donnell a little unhappy to be left out of the team last week in the Regal tie against Warrington. There was talk he might be looking for a move elsewhere, but he's back on the bench tonight. Fogarty with the run. Here's Griffiths. Cooper. Vivers. Tackled immediately, but gets the ball away. Finds Riley, does Cooper. That's good tackling in the end from Chamberlain. He was round his ankles, but no one came in to finish him off. There's Prescott. Tried to get the ball away. That's got to be a knock-on.
Just a bit over-ambitious there. Not happy with it either. Just about to say that St Helens appear to be playing with a lot more composure, and that happened. Just got excited to the youngster.
Here's Parker. Still just trying to keep the legs pumping was Parker, but well, that's surely holding down by Cooper. No, referee says play on. And he's given the penalty this time.
Swinging arm there, if at first you don't succeed. Chris Joynt. He's a big prop forward. Quite high, the impact first was above the shoulders. No doubt in the mind of Mr. Nicholson. Here it comes. Crack. See the head jolt back.
2012. Mike Fletcher with an important kick now for Rovers. 10.5 minutes into this second half. He's kicked it, and Fletcher's 2 points just keep Rovers ticking along. 20-14. And Rovers about to make a change, I think.
Substitution for Hull KR. Craig O'Brien is coming on, in fact is on, and the mule, Dave Hosking, who's had a bit of an arm problem in recent weeks, has come off. That's the change.
Hosking then will watch from the bench for the time being. The Mule from Manley. So just 6 points the difference, and Rovers suddenly begin to pick up a gear because they can see what their coach George Fairbairn can see. 2 points to take with them back up the M62 to Humberside.
Good run there by the second row, Chris Harrison. He's played very strongly. You've got to admire this Rovers side. They do play with a lot of effort. I'd love to be able to see them win, say, another 3 real classy stars.
Well, George Fairbairn says that's all they're short of, and they would be up there amongst the leaders of the big league in the Stones Bidder Championship. Chatfield picks himself up. Parker drills the ball towards the touchline, and eventually it just crosses the whitewash. Good kick.
Had some good kicks, hasn't he, Wayne Parker? Kept them really in the game. Punch it into the corner. Perhaps he didn't want that to actually reach touch.
Turning into a bit of a struggle this for St Helens. Something that not many people would have predicted, looking at Rovers' record on this ground down the years. But they're playing with a lot of spirit, and there's one of their former players, Anthony Sullivan. The quiet evening on the wing for St Helens so far. O'Donnell is the dummy half, and he finds Cooper. Laughlin steaming up in support. Now he's overrun his captain, and Cooper has to take the tackle from Mike Fletcher. Dwyer, O'Donnell, Griffiths, Joint. Strong run again from Joint. I bet he is looking forward to the Australians coming over next season, as we all are, to see whether Great Britain really can topple the world champions. Here's O'Donnell. Lovely ball to Nicol. Another candidate for Great Britain, obviously, Sonny Nicol. Bernard Dwyer. Griffiths. O'Donnell. Griffiths takes over again. Laughlin's there. Griffiths thought the better of releasing the pass. Play the ball to himself. It's allowed. There was no one stood in front. And the tackle completed on the last tackle. It's the turnover.
Well, he played it to himself, run away. The referee deemed that David Lydiard was then offside. Not offside, should I say.
Parker, this is out one and finds the fullback Fletcher. Chamberlain, the dummy half. It's Craig O'Brien.
Big problem for Saints now. They really can't afford to go to sleep. Even though they look the stronger side, they've got to keep that solid line of defence.
And Rovers are looking to breach it on every opportunity, and they're in with a chance here now with Chatfield. Anything's possible when it's with him. Dean Clark gets away from Griffiths, gets the ball back to Chatfield. This is a great run from the little scrum half. He's scuttling towards the line, and a good job that Prescott was there, helped out by Sullivan. Dangerous moments these for St Helens. O'Brien dabbed the ball forward in the corner, and luckily for St Helens, Prescott was there. He shepherded the ball out, but it went dead on its own. It'll be a tap on the 20-metre mark.
Well, there you see the substitute. O'Brien put the ball into the corner. Did well there, did Prescott. Shepherded all the way through, but what a great run from Chatfield. We talk about this defence just going to sleep, and he took full advantage of it.
Dwyer can't get away from Clark or the second rower Harrison, but released the pass. Another St Helens attack springs into action. Quarter of an hour, second half gone. 20 points St Helens, 14 Hull Kingston Rovers. Big collision with Wayne Jackson for Sonny Nicol. As they put his shoulder to the wheel, then the Rovers prop forward. Griffiths. Laughlin, the ball was behind him. He had to just check his stride to pick it up. And Dean Clark was waiting for him. Vivers. Now Dwyer. Ball to Cooper. Cooper keeps the movement going to Vivers. Laughlin screamed for it. Laughlin striding to the line. O'Brien and Fletcher closing down. Good run from Laughlin. Vivers wanting to get on with it quickly, finds O'Donnell. O'Donnell checking and tackle. That's good defence.
Was it ever? Great tackle from Fletcher, the full-back. But nice bit of play from Shane Cooper before that set St Helens off down on the blind side. Has he pinched the ball or has he lost it? Referee will make a decision. Knock on. Looks to the touch judge. I think he did lose it as well. Oh, perhaps he was ledged there. Oh, a little bit of a touch. So difficult. They've got away with it. You can see Cooper there calling a move. Will he peel off from the back of the scrum and go the blind?
Griffiths has the ball. Griffiths on a run. Almost through Griffiths. Passes the ball off the ground to Vivers. Oh, the pass to Riley wasn't good enough. The line was begging Mike Riley, and that was an awful pass from Phil Vivers.
It certainly was. Not the best. Another mistake. And this St Helens crowd, they boo. They know that that could be the game winner.
That's Richard Oliver, picks himself up. Parker's the dummy half. All Saints are offside. Parker wants to get on with it quickly. Fogarty prevented him from doing that.
That was a big risk there by the prop forward Fogarty. Got in the way there, and perhaps that could have been another penalty. That's the reason that we saw that they were offside in the first place. Quite a few to pick from Mr. Nicholson, the referee.
Harrison with the drive over the halfway line. Chamberlain the dummy half. Parker. And that's Paul Fletcher. He disappears underneath the challenge of Joint and Dwyer. Chamberlain again the dummy half. Parker switching direction of play. Chatfield, always danger with this fella. Lydiard on the charge, met squarely and fairly by Vivers.
It's been a good battle, hasn't it, between Vivers and David Lydiard. Two Aussies really getting into each other.
Wayne Jackson will pick himself up. Chamberlain's in there at dummy half again. Tackled by Fogarty. A big collision off the ball too. Charlesworth's gone down. And St Helens have the ball back, but the referee said penalty, Hulkingston Rovers.
Not standing square, going round the side there. You can see he has to stand directly in front. Perhaps Chamberlain did make a little bit of a move. That's what he's trying to say to the referee. Either way, the niggling pain that appears to be coming into St Helens' side continues.
3 out of 4 from Mike Fletcher. The last one he kicked was from almost this exact same position. And they keep niggling away at St Helens, don't they? They're getting back closer and closer. 4 points now, the gap. 20 St Helens, 16 Hulkingston Rovers. It's pretty tight, this one. Too close to call. So it'll be Gus O'Donnell who will restart, the drop goal specialist in the big league. 8 drop goals to his credit already this season. 9 last season. If St Helens get in a position, you know, underneath the posts, I'd put my money on them trying to work a drop goal and a 1 point for Gus O'Donnell again here tonight.
Another high one there from Paul Loughlin. No doubt about it, he jumped right into it. Well, are they going to throw this game away? That's the second occasion they've been in the Hulkingston Rovers quarter, giving away silly penalties to relieve the pressure. And quite happy, the Rovers will accept.
St Helens are seeking their 10th consecutive home win over Hulkingston Rovers here, but Rovers are like a dog with a bone. They won't let this one go. And there's a quarter of the match left. Plenty of time for it to be won and lost by either side. Good play. Parker.
Bernard Dwyer down, badly injured in the background.
Mike McLennan watching anxiously still. Chatfield just holds the pass up to Harrison. Vivas has him round the ankles. Eventually Harrison falls, and as you see, Bernard Dwyer receiving treatment. Here's Oliver, the winger. Keeping Bright Sodgy out, the number 5 for Rovers. Parker to Chatfield. Good ball from him. Finds O'Brien. Craig O'Brien looking for some support. None was there. St Helens have to be careful. Has he dropped the ball? Is it a knock-on? Yes, it is. I thought for a moment the referee had given Rovers the penalty.
Well, they were very lucky there. I thought there was interference by Chris Joynt. He was trying to play the ball. A man coming on offside pushed him to the ground.
Well, when the whistle went, I thought it was for a penalty. The referee had other ideas, and so now is O'Donnell. That's a good tackle by Charlesworth. And he's given the penalty this way to Saints for holding down.
Well, little doubt about it that you can see that substitute Dean Clark leaning on there, but geez, St Helens are fortunate to get away with that last one.
And now they're back on attack, and in the Rovers half of the field once more with Dannett. Gets the good ball away, flips the pass to Cooper. He finds Chris Joynt. Chris Joynt trying to disentangle himself with Paul Fletcher. Oh, that's a good run from Fogarty. Former heavyweight boxer Alan Fogarty, brought to Knowsley Road from Halifax. Dwyer, Griffiths. Here's O'Donnell. The charge again from Loughlin. He's done that all night. And the referee wants a word with Chris Harrison.
Well, that looks shoulder to me. Pretty difficult, but they come through. I thought the impact was on the shoulder. Wasn't seen that way. I'm not the referee. It looks clearly there from the head on. Shoulder impact, arm over the top of the shoulder as well. He's not happy. And I think he's every right not to be happy.
Yeah, and he can't believe it. Chris Harrison. And it's Steve Prescott again. So Steve Prescott, whose father Eric was in the St Helens champion side of 1971, making a bit of a name for himself in the big league since he has appeared. Young man who scores plenty of points for the reserve team with kicking like that. It's 6 points again, 22-16.
And a relief St Helens, I'm sure. The 2 extra point from Steve Prescott. Maybe that will shake St Helens out of their lethargic last 15 minutes. When they scored that beautiful, well-earned try.
George Fairbairn doesn't look too happy, does he? And that ball has got to run 10 metres, and it just did. And that's good play. Inventive play from the kickoff, and Lydiard was alert to it. Parker gets the ball away to Wayne Jackson.
Super stuff. Now, for those that don't understand, if the Hull KR player would have touched it before making the 10 metres, it would have been a penalty to St Helens. He had to wait until it had made the distance.
And that's why the Rovers are in possession. Chatfield to Parker. Parker trying to get away from Nicol. It's no easy task, is it? He's been a very consistent performer for St Helens, has Sonny Nicol. Parker, there was a big call then from Mike Fletcher. I think he wanted the ball kicked across the face of play and not hoisted as the bomb. Parker caught his own bomb and then knocked it on. And Wayne Parker, I think, is complaining to the touch judge that that ball was stolen from him.
Oh, a little bit over enthusiastic there from Paul Fletcher, looking to get away with that one. You could see the aggression on his face.
They're getting frustrated, Rovers, aren't they?
It could boil over. I do hope Mr. Nicholson has got a tight control of this.
Cooper slipped then on the greasy surface, and Jackson just dropped on him, the prop forward. Dwyer, the dummy half. Cooper is there in support. So too is Joint. He gets the ball away looking for Loughlin. Loughlin had to apply the brakes and just simply drop on it. Last one for St Helens. O'Donnell under pressure from Chatfield, hoists the bomb. Well collected by Barkworth. Nickel. And the ball's come free. The referee had his back to that. He looks to the touch judge. Watch the decision. Penalty Rovers for stealing the ball.
No doubt about it.
Turn then.
Came in with a tackle and he pulled away. Watch this. That was it. Left arm, just enough. To be fair, the referee was taking the St Helens side back the full 10. But the touch judge was Johnny on the spot.
So difficult for the referees, isn't it? There have been calls, Steve-O, in our letters on boots and all, for two referees, perhaps. One to look after the play of the ball, one to march the defence back. What do you think?
Excellent idea.
Here comes the Rovers again, and Chatfield. That's quick hands and good stuff. And Lydiard is hauled back. It was a good job that Mike Riley was there. Chatfield, lovely dummy, sent them the wrong way. And he's lucky then to get away with it. Fogarty got a hand to it. And then the Rovers man came in and got a foot to it. It was Craig O'Brien, so the movement continues. That was a forward pass. The referee is 10 metres away from all this. He didn't see any of that. See, he's having to police the 10-metre rule. And he's not moving up with the players as they race forward, the St Helens defence. But here's Lydiard. Showed it one way, went on his own. Lovely dummy again. Ball out wide. Oh! Barkworth drops it. And Steve Prescott. Well, the whole length of the field was beckoning Prescott then.
Super play by the Australian Lydiard. But good play also by Anthony Sullivan. He got enough of the arm in front to make sure that Barkworth couldn't collect that football. That was a try-saver from Anthony Sullivan.
Saved 4 points for his team against the side he used to play for. This is the scrum going down for the knock-on. There it was. He saved the 4 points and now he's conceded the scrum. And here comes Rovers, the ball in field to Barkworth. Try for Barkworth. Absolutely incredible by this Rovers team. They will not lie down. From the scrum, the ball was fired out, and Barkworth, with his 5th try of the season, has put the cat amongst the pigeons again.
Nice little work move from Wayne Parker through the dummy, and it's just enough there. Was it a bit forward? Try a lot forward. The referee didn't see it, and Barkworth, what he failed to do a few seconds before, I think you'll see quite clear here. This is Barkworth coming through. Whoa, 50-50. The high shot. Well, who would have believed it?
2 for Julian Barkworth tonight. The conversion's on its way, and Fletcher has kicked it. We're back at level pegging. 22 points apiece. The first time this season Saints have conceded more than 20.
Well, let's see it. We'll slow it down for you. There you can see they do the dummy. Oh, they really fell for it, didn't they? And this is a moment. Whoa, hard decision. You could see referee Steve Nicholson was behind the play. Not surprisingly, he was on the blind side. You can't blame him. He thought it was okay. And have we got a ball game?
Have we ever? Last 10 minutes, 22 points apiece. We're in for quite a finish. Mike McLennan looking for the victory to send him home to New Zealand. Rovers looking for their first win here for over 10 years. And this man, Parker, he has got the scent of winning money tonight. He and Chatfield have had big games. There's Chatfield.
They certainly have. They were overshadowed in the first half by Jonathan Griffiths and Tia Rapati, and maybe it's not a coincidence that since Tia Rapati has been removed from the field, St Helens are not the same side.
And he's injured. It wasn't tactics, there's no doubt about that. Here's Fletcher, kicked brilliantly tonight, the Hull Kingston Rovers fullback. There's Rapati watching on. Parker again with the kick downfield. Riley waits an almost eternity, and then he's clobbered by Lydiard. Rovers have got a spring in their step. Well, it's a one-pointer perhaps that's going to win this.
Well, you called it, didn't you? And I'm sure that's going through the minds of St Helens players. They've got to keep cool now, St Helens. Just work hard, run like that from Vivers. Quick play the balls, that's what he's trying to do, and that's a penalty. He worked for it. The experience there of Phil Vivers. See how he's kicking to get up. Come on, he says. He called for it, and rightly so, the referee gave it.
Cooper had a quick look there at Steve Prescott as Tia Rapati just tries the ankle to see whether he can come back on. But Cooper, the captain of Saints, looked at Prescott, his stand-in full-back, said, "Do you fancy having a shot at goal with this?" And Prescott answered in the affirmative. So this is a big, big kick for an 18-year-old. Remember, when we were last here at Knowsley Road, Steve Prescott held on to his nerves like an ice-cool veteran and popped over the penalty to pick up a point against Halifax. This one has got all the more importance because it could win the match, but it's not going to make it, and it hasn't run dead, and Rovers will run the ball out. That's great chasing though. The crowd begin to lift their voices, look for a last big 7 minutes from St Helens. And of course, if the ball is turned over down here, it could be serious problems for Rovers. And that's why St Helens now tackling like terriers.
They really have picked up a gear, haven't they, in the defensive there? Even though he didn't make it with that kick from Prescott, it was great defence. They really did get into it. Gus O'Donnell and Bernard Dwyer, they were there very quickly.
Wayne Jackson, oh, that's high! That's a high tackle. Lachlan said he got him round the collar. It didn't look like it to us.
The hand went for the collar, but the way that he slipped over the top followed through. There you see it. It was the drag rather than the intent. Penalty is enough.
Rapati, I think, has got to come back on for St Helens. He's waiting to come into the action again to try and settle this ship down, because this victory that it looked like it was going to be for St Helens is rapidly turning into a defeat. Dean Clark.
Well, you can bet now that the Rovers will try to go towards those sticks. They've got two talented drop ballers, field goal kickers in Chatfield and Parker.
And it looks like they might be setting for it here. It's with Parker. Oh, another high challenge, was it? No, the referee is happy with that one. It was Nickel. Now it's with Chatfield. He's looking for the 1 point, but now he's going to run it. That's good defence. The ball spills. Riley's on his way, but not for long. Good tackling, Oliver.
Oh, great pressure from St Helens there. They really shut him down. He'd no chance to get that 1 pointer in.
5 minutes to go. Level pegging at 22 all. Mike Riley in possession for St Helens. There's been nothing to choose between these two sides all night. There's nothing now. Joint with the run.
Well, he's perhaps the man that could do it. He's run very strongly out wide.
St Helens are lining up. They're queuing up to take the pass. Cooper. That's a good run. It's driving St Helens down the middle. They're getting closer to those points. Watch out for O'Donnell. Dwyer, now Nickel. But Nickel running wide. Now will they set for the 1 pointer from O'Donnell? It's on the last tackle. There he is. O'Donnell went for it. Good challenge though from Lydiard. The ball bounces back. Who has it? Rovers have.
Oh, it seemed a nightmare there for the second row of Chris Harrison. The ball ricochets there. And as it came off Harrison's legs, it was a nightmare before he slowly went onto the football.
Got a bang on the hip for his pains. He's receiving treatment. Well, Rovers now will have to try and work the ball up the other end of the field. O'Donnell tried for the one-pointer that would have won the match. Now it's Rovers' turn, but St Helens tenacious. And Rapati waits to get on and can't until there's a break in play. Fogarty doing the tackling there. He will be the man to go off for Rapati to come on. Wayne Parker says, let's get out of here. Riley picks up inside his own 20-metre zone, sees a little gap. Oliver and Lydiard close it down quickly. O'Donnell gives it to Prescott.
There's been some super defence from both sides in this second half.
Rapati is back on. Fogarty's off. Loughlin's in possession for St Helens. They're just over the halfway line. They're in possession again with Cooper. Now Dannett. 3 minutes plus anything the timekeeper's add for stoppages. It's level pegging at 22-all. Dwyer with a wonderful run. That's exactly what St Helens want. That's the position they need to be in. O'Donnell setting himself again. Cooper's having a go. Drop goal from Cooper. Hits the post. Oh, what drama here at Knowsley Road.
They went for O'Donnell. He was a dummy there, and Cooper, he can't believe it. And once again, the second rower, Chris Harrison, saved the day. He just cannot believe that it did not sail over.
A few seconds more than 2 minutes now. 22 points apiece. Oh, and it's coughed the ball up. That was O'Brien who gave it to Nicol. Big roars from the crowd now as St Helens try and will their team to victory here. O'Brien with the mistake. Dwyer's looking round at dummy half. It's back with Griffiths. Now Rapati. Rapati to Beavers. Beavers gets away from the tackler. Gives it to Rapati. To Griffiths. Long pass to O'Donnell. O'Donnell straightens up. And somehow Rovers keep him out. These are desperate moments for both sides. Nicol tried to plunge over. Nips the ball out the back door. Why on earth did he do that?
I just can't believe this. Why did he have to flip it out? They could have set up for the drop goal again. Well, if they wanted to give a present to Mike McLennan, it's not the best one that I can think of.
Here's Harrison, who's been a hero in defence in the last couple of minutes for Rovers. Funny we said, or I said it during the course of the game, Nicol rarely gives the ball away. And he's just done it in the worst possible situation. Jackson with the run. Last tackle. Rovers cannot get out of their own half. Chatfield. They're going to take a gamble and run for it. Offside. Oliver picked out for offside, but I think it was Lydiard who was offside in the first instance.
Yes, Lydiard perhaps just in front of the kicker. No, yes it was Lydiard there on the centre. Now surely, I can't believe the whole Kingston Rovers didn't kick deep.
Cooper, stand by for the 1 point. They're setting for it again. They're driving it in though this time with Joint. Time is almost up.
Is it going to be third time lucky for the Saints?
O'Donnell screaming for it. It's with him now. The drop goal specialist has won this match for Saints. Gus O'Donnell, the unsettled man, and Gus O'Donnell now the hero.
Wonderful positioning from the substitute, Gus O'Donnell. You could see he went back nearly 25 metres. That was enough to make sure that no one got anywhere near him. The smile says it all. The man that many people feel that he wants to get away from this club has just perhaps won them a very vital 2 points.
Gus O'Donnell's 9th one-pointer of the season, and it could be the most priceless 1 point he's ever scored. Remember how close he was last year to winning the title for Saints with a 1-pointer. He's won 2 valuable points for St Helens this evening to keep the championship hopes on track and send Mike McLennan home with the victory he so desperately needed. But dear me, how disappointing for George Fairbairn and for Hull Kingston Rovers. Tremendous game. O'Donnell, the hero.
Seize the
Yo, what?
A great match in the big league tonight. 23 points to St Helens, 22 to Hull Kingston Rovers. A brave, brave attempt by Rovers, but beaten by the drop goal from Gus O'Donnell in the very last minute of a pulsating match. And Gus O'Donnell, heartbroken last week because he was left out of the side against Warrington. Delighted tonight, I'm sure, he's with Bill.
Gus, that was some end to some game.
Yeah, it was, you know, unfortunate for them. I just got a drop goal in the last 9 seconds. I had 2 attempts and missed them, but third time lucky.
You left it very late indeed, didn't you? Did you think there was going to be an opportunity for it after Shane had hit the post with another one?
Well, I thought it was going to be like, was it the Sheffield game where we drew? I thought we were going to have another game like that, but luck was on our side today and we ended up winning.
You made life very difficult for yourselves. It wasn't one of your better performances, was it?
Yeah, we only played in patches. If we play like that against Wigan, I don't think we're going to win them, but we'll have a good hard training session this week and we'll get stuck in.
So quite an end to what's been an eventful week for you, hasn't it? Because there was talk about maybe a move.
I was very upset about being dropped, but that's things in life. I come to training, got stuck into it, and the coach put me back in the team, so I had to repay him by getting the winning pay for us.
And nice to end Mike's reign on a winning note.
Yeah, it's nice to finish on a winning note instead of a draw or losing.
Thanks very much indeed, Gus. Mike McLennan is just joining us now. Mike, nice to end on a winning note.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, it was. I'm thrilled for the team and for, you know, Ducky to finish it off in that way. We set it up on a couple of occasions and we weren't able to complete the assignment. I think it made it extra hard. I think it posed extra pressure on the players, the whole scenario, but I'm proud of them. I think we're lying 4th in the comp now, and that's not a bad position to be. And these boys are good enough. They'll carry on. They'll give Wigan heaps on Boxing Day. You wait and see.
Did you think as the seconds were ticking away that it was going to be a disappointing end?
I was quietly optimistic. You know, it may sound ironic, but I just felt that we were going to pull something out. I really did. So we were fortuitous, and that's what it's all about, getting the final result. And I'm pleased that the little Wigan provided that nice but unfortunate circumstances. I have to go home, and I can go home and poke my chest out. And we won our last game, and they're in a good, they're in a good position in the comp now, and they can carry on with it. We needed something just to break the scenario. We've had a draw and a couple of losses. Probably last week a little bit unlucky with an unfortunate foot trip, because I think we would have given Warrington heaps with a full complement of players. So on that score alone, I'm very pleased with my team. I'm very pleased with the result.
Has it been an emotional evening for you?
Well, of course it is, because the players, they're very important to me, and they always have been and always will be with any team I've been associated with. And I'm very proud to have been their coach, and I sincerely wish them well in the future, and the future coaching staff. Obviously Shane Cooper and Frankie Barrow will be taking over, and the club will be making a new appointment. And I certainly wish my successor all the best, because back home in New Zealand I'll be looking at the Sky television and watching the results intently, and sincerely hoping that Saints can get a championship. I hope the little bit of work that I've done here is a foundation for better things for the club.
Any regrets about leaving, Mike?
I've got no option, have I?
And what would you reckon, looking back over the years, what would you cherish as the high spot of your association with St Helens?
For strategy reasons, I mean, the 41-6 victory over Wigan on Boxing Day was very significant. I think, the Premiership Grand Final, and I thought we showed a lot of excellence when we eliminated Widnes in the semi-final to go to Wembley. And I think the big frustrating factor at Wembley that year, when we did lose 38 to Wigan, that we didn't have another 5 minutes, because we would have beaten them.
Mike, thanks very much indeed, and we wish you all the best for the future. Cheers.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
So Mike McLennan leaves the Nosey Road scene, and he's being applauded off by the St Helens public. And there's a nice picture with Gus O'Donnell. Last week, I don't think they were talking much after McLennan took the decision to leave O'Donnell out of the match against Warrington tonight. They go home with the Christmas music and all smiles. And McLennan leaves Knowsley Road and this arena for the very last time. Nice to see. Nice moments for Mike McLennan. And I rather fancy he'll be taking a drink with one or two of those supporters as this evening progresses. Great stuff. Well done, Mike McLennan. Well done, St Helens. But we must also say, I think at this stage, well done, Hulkingston Rovers, because that was, Steve-O, quite a match.
Certainly in the second half, it was tremendous football. Both sides looked as though St Helens had taken control when they scored that crisscross try. And then they just would not lie down, would the Hulkingston Rovers? They must have been very, very proud of themselves. A bit disappointed. I thought they took the last option with about half a minute to go when they didn't kick deep. They tried to go for the victory. Full credit for them trying to do that. But when Lydiard was caught offside, that gave St Helens the position to go for that 1 point. And it's how rugby league football goes, isn't it?
This is the moment you're talking about. I wonder why, Steve-O, they didn't just hammer the ball at field here, get rid of it.
Well, I would have taken the option of saying, well, we'll come away with 1 point, which is not a bad effort, is it, from Knowsley Road, but it's just a matter that Lydiard was caught offside, just a fraction too much from the resulting kick. It didn't make it, but their defence, St Helens there, they just penned them down. The mistake from the substitute came about, and on they went. But what a cracking game. There were some great tries. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure you did as well.
Yes, tremendous match, and I rather fancy that Phil Vevers will be delighted to talk about it, as will perhaps Mike Fletcher, the Hulkingston Rovers fullback. But it's Phil Vevers first, and he's with Bill now.
That was a close shave, Phil.
Yeah, I think we're just pleased to come away with the 2 points, really. Nothing seemed to click for us tonight. Made a lot of basic errors. I think we're just in the same rut that we've been in for the last few weeks, except it looked a little bit worse tonight. Give credit to Hull KR. They came here to do a job. They tackled really well. And I've been unlucky tonight not to come away with a draw.
You really did make life difficult for yourself, didn't you?
Well, we gave away a lot of stupid penalties. We dropped a lot of silly ball. We gave it away in the danger zone too many times. And Hull KR made us pay for it. We come out with a couple of tries.
Just relieved to get the 2 points, I suppose.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we've sent Mike off with a win, but okay, it's by 1 point, but 2 points is 2 points, and it's winning money.
Phil, thanks very much indeed. Mike Fletcher was the man who set Hull KR off at a flying start. Great try that, Mike.
Yeah, we talked about in training, we've got to start running angles, and against teams like this who will move across, it came off tonight, so it's just basic rugby, really.
But an agonising way to lose it.
Yeah, it was seconds left. I thought we deserved a draw, and we could have gone away with 2 points, but that's rugby for you, isn't it?
You must have thought you got the draw when Shane Cooper's drop hit the post.
Yes, I thought that was a bit of luck, what we was looking for, and then he comes up with another one, and it went straight down the middle.
But maybe when the dust settled and you look at this performance, you can take a lot from it, because it was tremendous, wasn't it?
Yeah, after the recent weeks, we haven't done our pride or commitment any good, and today we came and gave everything, and hopefully Saints realised there was in the game today.
And you think maybe you can build on this and get out of trouble?
Yeah, we've got to look for next week now, the Derby game. Hopefully 2 points there. They're playing well, but we can come with 2 points.
Yes, this is going to give you a bit of confidence going into that, isn't it? Even though it's a defeat, you played well.
Yeah, like they say, the recent weeks we haven't done so well, and tonight we played football, we tackled, we did the basics right, and we'll give all a good game next week.
I'm sure they will. That's the situation, though, at the top of the First Division tonight in the Stonesbitter Championship, and St Helens move up to 4th place. 4th place clear now, a point ahead of Halifax. This is the moment, Steve-O, that won it. He's a great drop goal kicker, isn't he?
On the 2 occasions before, he was a little bit too tight. That time, he gave himself plenty of room. You could see there was not any chance of a Rover to get anywhere near him. Look at the ecstasy. He knows that he's won the game. There's barely seconds remaining, and he's a wonderful opportunist. He just takes it. I just wish that St Helens could just play for the full 80 minutes. They really do frustrate me at times. They've got so much talent. They put it together, score 2 tries, and then for some unknown reason sit back and say, aren't we wonderful? And they're not for 80 minutes.
They are at times, though, but let's talk about Hull Kingston Rovers. They've come over here, they're third bottom of the table. They go home now 22-23 beaten. I mean, Mike Fletcher's talking about all the confidence and they're going to go and give Hull a really good game next week, which I'm sure they are, but dear me, after all that effort to go home with nothing, heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking, but I think they realise that they're about 3 or 4 star players away from being a very, very good side. They're not the only side in the Rugby League that needs an influx of good players. It's a shame that we don't have that many players into it. Maybe it's time that we should start lifting the import rule. Maybe we should say bring in 6 or 7. Maybe we need it now because there's players out there that in Australia and New Zealand I'm sure will be very keen to join us. And I think perhaps it's time that we do that because there's so many clubs struggling when they need, and they could probably get a lot of guest players or for the full season to come over.
But wouldn't that, Steve-O, stop the flow of these great youngsters coming through that we've seen?
Well, at the moment, we've only got a certain amount of good players coming through at the moment because of the fact that our academy side has only been going for 2 seasons. And I think it's going to take another 4 or 5 seasons before we get this conveyor belt of so many youngsters. Once we can get that, then teams like Hull KR will be a top side.
You don't say we don't give you anything to talk about on the big league or on Boots and All, can you? That's good stuff from Steve-O. OK, what's coming up on Sky Sports over the next week or so? Well, Sunday at 7, we feature the team at the bottom of the table. That's Lee. Can they get their season on the rails with a victory at Post Office Road? See Featherstone Lee Sunday at 7. Boxing Day at 7, Wigan, St Helens. Wouldn't be Christmas without it. Wigan, St Helens from Central Park, Boxing Day at 7. Thursday at 7, it's Boots and All, where we preview the Christmas programmes. But coming up next, we have the European Open Snooker Championship for you from Belgium. So I hope that you'll stay with us for that here on Sky Sports. It's been a tremendous match, hasn't it? 23-22. Gus O'Donnell's drop goal. Mike McLennan goes home to New Zealand. He goes home relatively happy, but I'm sure with a great big lump in his throat. From all of us on the big league to Mike McLennan, all the best. All the best to you. We'll see you Sunday.